Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the absolute most iconic tournaments in modern sports history, the 2010 World Cup. Hosted in South Africa, this was the monumental stage where the Spanish national team did something they had literally never done before. They secured their first ever world title. But the story of exactly why Spain won in 2010 goes way beyond just having a bunch of talented players on the pitch.
So, let's dive into this. The ultimate question we are unpacking today is what truly drives a team to become world champions? Is it having a flawless tactical setup? Is it just relying on crazy moments of pure luck? Or does it actually come down to heart, human connection, and, psychology? To figure that out, we're going to deconstruct this victory like a giant puzzle. Here's our agenda for today. 1. The historic stage. 2. Uniting the dressing room. 3. The element of luck. 4. A magical extra time. And 5. Uniting a nation.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the historic stage, from a shock defeat to the final.
Picture this. Going into the 2010 tournament, Spain were the reigning European champions. They were heavy favorites, ranked second in the whole world. But right out of the gate, they stumbled hard. On June 16th, they suffered a stunning 1-0 shock defeat to Switzerland. Talk about a massive wake-up call. But they rallied. They bounced back to beat Honduras 2-0, and they edged past Chile 2-1 to win their group. Now take a look at that knockout stage run. You'll notice there are no massive blowouts here. They absolutely had to grind it out, securing incredibly tight, tense 1-0 victories against Portugal, Paraguay, and Germany. It was a gritty, low-scoring march to the final that required just an immense amount of focus.
Moving right along to Section 2, uniting the dressing room, the psychological masterclass.
You see, the true battleground for manager Vicente del Bosque wasn't actually on the pitch. He inherited a squad totally packed with superstars, sure, but those superstars came from two deeply divided clubs, Real Madrid and Barcelona. We're talking about absolute legends like Iker Casillas, Sergio Ramos, and Xabi Alonso on one side, and Xavi, Gerard Piqué, and Sergio Busquets on the other. At the time, this domestic El Clasico rivalry was taken to absolute extremes. It was incredibly volatile, and it genuinely threatened to tear the national team's cohesion apart from the inside. Del Bosque knew for sure that tactics alone were not going to win a World Cup if his players secretly couldn't stand each other. So, what did he do? He deployed a brilliant, step-by-step psychological strategy. First, on the night of the World Cup final, instead of drilling them on X's and O's to counter the Netherlands, he actually appealed straight to their emotions. He reminded them they were vital men for the national team. Second, behind the scenes, he played the role of mediator. He held these very targeted sit-downs with specific pairs of players who shared positions or intense rivalries, guys like Ramos and Piqué or Casillas and Xavi. And step 3 was forging that united front, making absolutely sure any personal baggage from club rivalries was squashed immediately.
And get this, the ultimate proof that this psychological intervention worked? Casillas and Xavi were later jointly awarded the super prestigious Prince of Asturias Award, but the kicker is, it wasn't just for their athletic skill, it was in direct recognition of the values of friendship and team spirit. Del Bosque had successfully diffused a situation that had become dangerously toxic, literally turning a fractured locker room into a band of brothers.
All right, on to Section 3, the element of luck. Inches from defeat. Let's set the scene for the final on July 11th. We're at Johannesburg Soccer City Stadium, surrounded by nearly 85,000 screaming fans. This was a monumental clash between Spain and the Netherlands, with both nations desperate to win their first ever World Cup. Fun fact, it was actually the first final without a previous winner since way back in 1978. And man, did the pressure show. It was a brutal, grueling match that still holds the Guinness World Record for the most yellow cards issued in a World Cup final. The rhythm was just constantly disrupted by bookings. The tension was off the charts.
And then we hit the 62nd minute. The entire tournament suddenly hangs in the balance. Dutch forward Arjen Robben breaks away, totally one-on-one with Spanish goalkeeper Iker Casillas. I mean, this is the moment. If Robben scores here, the Netherlands probably walk away with the World Cup. Robben shoots, and Casillas miraculously deflects the ball with the literal toe of his boot.
Years later, when asked about this wonder save, Casillas didn't even brag about his reflexes. He just candidly said, "I'm convinced that if Robben and I lived that move 10 times, it's possible he scores 9 times. It was just good luck." It really humanizes these athletic gods, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, even with the absolute best preparation, the sharpest manager, and a totally united team, history is sometimes decided by mere inches and pure unadulterated luck.
Which brings us right into Section 4, a magical extra time, the emotional climax of the tournament.
So, the match is still goalless after 90 minutes. We head into extra time. The suspense is agonizing. The Netherlands actually go down to 10 men, and then we reach minute 116. We are literally just 4 minutes away from the terrifying prospect of a penalty shootout.
Suddenly, left-lying playmaker Andrés Iniesta, a guy who, by the way, almost completely missed the tournament due to injury, uncharacteristically pops up right in a striker's position. He catches a short, quick pass from Cesc Fabregas. Iniesta later said he knew exactly how he had to shoot, and he knew he had to be fast. He fires this powerful right-footed shot straight into the net. Bam! Goal.
Spain takes the lead. But honestly, it's what Iniesta does next that elevates this from just a great sports highlight to a profoundly human moment. He completely loses it in a wildly out-of-character celebration, ripping off his jersey to reveal a handwritten undershirt, and it reads, Dani Jarque siempre con nosotros. Dani Jarque, always with us.
He was paying tribute to his close friend and fellow footballer who had tragically passed away. And the backstory here is just staggering. Right before the team ran out to warm up for the final, Iniesta specifically asked a member of the Spanish delegation to make this shirt for him. He just had this gut feeling, this trust that fate would somehow give him the chance to honor his friend on the biggest stage on earth. As Iniesta put it, fate made that ball go where it had to. That moment was magical.
We've seen the victory on the pitch, but let's wrap up with Section 5, Uniting a Nation, the legacy of La Roja.
When you look at how the media actually analyzed the aftermath of this win, it is fascinating. The Spanish press largely portrayed the victory through a super emotional lens. They kind of detached the massive, joyful street celebrations from the broader socioeconomic reality of the country at the time, framing it just as a pure celebration of Spanish identity. Conversely, the international press looked at it from the outside in. They heavily discussed Spain's internal regionalisms and historical complexities, basically framing the World Cup win as this powerful sign of Spanish unity, a rare moment where deep regional divides were temporarily bridged by the sheer success of the national team.
Which leaves us with one final pretty big thought. When Del Bosque united those players from rival clubs, did that unity actually transfer to the nation itself? Did La Roja's victory truly unite Spain? Or was it just a beautiful, fleeting moment of magic under the Johannesburg sky? It's the ultimate question of whether sports can permanently heal historical divides, or if they just offer us a much-needed temporary pause. Think about that as you reflect on the incredible story of the 2010 World Cup. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the story behind the story.